Can you tell us who you are, and where you were born?
My name's Kelley Allen, and I was born in Prescott County in the town of Hawkesbury.
And where were you a junior farmer member?
I was a junior farmer member. Started in Prescott County, and while I was provincial president, I was living in Oxford County and was a member there.
Okay. And what years were you a member?
I joined Junior Farmers in 1982 and continued to be a member until I was too old to be a member, which I believe was 1997.
Okay. How did you first get involved in junior farmers?
Believe I was dragged along to the meetings because I'm a member of a family of 6 kids, and all my siblings were involved, so I just naturally went along to the meetings.
Okay. And at the county or club level, what kind of things did you do?
When I joined, the meetings were a key part. There was the meeting part, and then after every meeting there was an activity, which was often a drawing card. It could have meant going to the bowling alley. It could have meant a car rally. It could have meant some skiing, tobogganing, and so on. Swimming. Another one comes to mind is water skiing. And that was always a drawing card, and our club was always prominent in the sporting activities like winter and summer games at the zone level, and broomball tournaments and softball tournaments and so on.
Okay. What type of community projects occurred in your club?
We had some interesting ones over the years. Community betterment projects were ones like painting the fire hydrants in the local town, taking some of the handicapped children to a tour on the farm, assisting 4-H in some of their activities, helping out the local fair, planting trees at the local fairgrounds. Those are the ones, some of the ones that come to mind, but we had quite a variety over the years.
How did you first become involved provincially in junior farmers?
The first provincial event I attended, I believe, was Sink Swing in Sudbury, and it was quite an event. Sudbury was a small club, did a good job hosting it, and our club rallied together, had several entries in it, and we had a fantastic time. We took a van load of people to Sudbury, and really had a fantastic time.
And from there, how did you end up being provincial director?
Being provincial director, I guess I succeeded my sister, who was not able to do it anymore, and I was finished my post-secondary at that time, so I guess I fell into the role.
Okay, and what year was that?
It was it followed, actually it followed the year that I was the delegate to the United Kingdom on the Junior Farm Exchange, so then it would have been 1988.
Okay. And then how did you progress to become vice president and then president?
I guess I was approached at the time to see if I was interested in running for president, and I wasn't really expecting to win the election, but I did. And I guess I was thrown, as a result, I was thrown into the executive, only having 1 year of experience as a provincial director. But it was a good team to work with, and we all did our best to pull together, and it was a real fast learning experience.
Who ran against you in the election? Do you remember how many there were?
Yes, there was 3 of us. One was a veteran provincial director, and the other candidate was 1 year experience as I had, and so yeah, there was 3 of us vying for the role, and I guess I'm the fellow that came up the middle.
Okay. And were there any highlights or interesting things that happened during your tenure on the executive?
Uh, yes, there definitely was a lot of things in transition at the time. I began to be. I came into the executive shortly after Junior Farmers became autonomous from the Ministry of Agriculture, so we began to fund and run a lot of the events ourselves. And as a result, we quickly realized that we had to do a little bit more future planning. Uh, so we developed the strategic planning process and committee, and that was a new thing to junior farmers at the time.
Okay. Was there any stories of junior farmers that happened to you during your presidency or vice presidency that only could have happened to junior farmers to you?
Well, one of the things that comes to mind actually when I was on the executive was our Bark Lake Leadership Camp was discontinued by the Ministry of Agriculture and Food because they were looking at directing their funding elsewhere. And we realized this is a very important part of the junior farmers and the future of junior farmers. So the Ministry of Agriculture ran a leadership camp called the Leadership in Action for any organization, and which was good for any members that wanted to learn the leadership skills. But we felt that they were missing the bonding that went on as part of the leadership camp process. So we rejuvenated Junior Farmer Leadership Camp as a camp for junior farmer members only. And it was quite an undertaking because we had to cover the expenses and find sponsors and organize it ourselves, where it was previously done by Ministry of Agriculture staff and other key people they had brought on board, and we're very proud of the fact that we managed to pull it off with a lot of volunteer hours and some special help from key people, and we had a very successful rejuvenated leadership camp at Bark Lake.
What time of year was this leadership in action that occurred?
I believe if I remember correctly, they followed through with the timeline that they had for Bark Lake, which was early September, around the time of Labor Day. So they caught the members when they were finishing their summer job and before they went back to school, or it just cut briefly into the beginning of their fall term.
And how many members would have gone to this revamped leadership camp?
I believe we decided that we needed to have at least 20 to make it operational, and if I remember correctly, we had 25 members, plus several members that were on staff as well.
And how many came from other groups?
We invited junior farmers, we invited 4-H members to the Junior Farmer Leadership Camp as well, and I think we maybe had 1 or 2 4-H members enrolled, with the idea that they would catch the junior farmer bug and take out a membership in junior farmers as a result.
You touched on about the relationship between junior farmers and provincial government changing.
Mm-hmm.
During your time as a member, was this something that was already in play, or is this something that had just started?
It was in play for many organizations. The agricultural societies were affected, junior farmers and 4-H were affected, and I guess the writing was on the wall. There was no secret that the provincial government wasn't going to continue to fund an organization with a shrinking membership that was when in rural areas, when the rural percentage of the population was shrinking as well, and they would much prefer to support us with a financial lump sum and let us manage the money, and with some support staff, rather than have their staff do do the organizing for us. So that was the focus of the government at the time, and it continued, and there was no secret. The government was trying to be a little more lean and mean and small. Main Since the rural population was a smaller percentage of the voters, it was just a matter of time before we were going to be squeezed out of their budget.
And how did the board react to this?
It was a little frustrating at the time, but we really didn't have a whole lot of bargaining power. We played our cards the best we could. We spent some time surveying past members just to show to the government that their time as a member in junior farmers, how it positively affected them, and how they went on to become active members and executive members of other organizations. And so that was some data that we gathered on our own to be able to show the Ministry of Agriculture and Food that the positive effect that our organization had in the future of a lot of rural leaders. At the time, come to think of it, we developed a mission statement which was derived from the Junior Farmer motto, self-help and community betterment. And the mission statement was to build future leaders through self-help and community betterment. And this is what we're trying to prove with the survey, that we were actually definitely building future rural leaders. And in the line of communications, everyone was faithful readers of the Enthusiast, and that was discontinued while I was on the provincial executive, and we were left to come up with our own solution. So we managed to generate our own newsletter called the Junior Farmer News, and it evolved into what's the Bullhorn today. But that was a bit of a disappointment for us. But again, the writing was on the wall that the government wasn't going to keep continuing a small circulation publication like the Enthusiast.
So the Enthusiast's ending was mainly just money.
The Enthusiast was printed and published and circulated by OMAFR staff. Actually, they did it all for us, but it was sent to all junior farmer members, junior farmer and 4-H families in Ontario, and so it was a publication that affected both organizations.
Looking back, obviously all the people you met, was there some significant people that became a big part of your life that you'd like to talk about?
I met several people in junior farmers that had an influence on me, and I guess when I think back of mentors to me, I guess they would be the past executive members, particularly some of the past presidents, and how they went on to be prominent members of their community and leaders of provincial organizations as well. So I found that they always set an example for me when I was looking for some mentorship.
The president after you, that was Paul Nairn, correct?
Correct.
Can you talk a little bit about the person Paul Nairn is and how he served as your vice president?
I should talk about the team of the three of us. Scott Kellman was before me, and myself and Paul, and we really worked together as a team. And I think one of the transformations that we tried to bring forward when the three of us were involved was going from a top-down organization where the executive was at the top of the pyramid and the members at the bottom, and we evolved our way of thinking, whereas the members became at the top of the pyramid and we were at the bottom, because we were trying to serve our members and generate more membership and serve them. And at the same time, we tried to eliminate the levels and put everybody on the same level. There never really should be an executive up here and a membership down there. Every member's the same. We were a member as well as any first year club member, and Paul Scott and I really tried to push that concept forward to all the clubs and the committees in the province.
And how did that go about?
Oh, I think it was received very well. It seems like we had very limited time to try and have the impact that we wanted to do, but we did our best at provincial events. And any member that wanted to talk to us, we were very willing to stop and talk and listen to them, hear their ideas, and thank them for being a member, and encourage them to continue being a member and to get involved whenever they can.
So the three of you worked well together?
Oh, very much so. And Darryl Brodiker came along behind Paul, and he fit right into the role too. And yeah, we always had a very good camaraderie of him.
And the secretary-treasurer that you worked with, that was...
We worked with a few. When I came on board as vice president, we had Sue Visser, and Sue had a big role to fill because she was the first hired secretary-treasurer by the junior farmers. Prior to that, it was the role was filled by an OMAFRA staff person, and it was a transformation for us as well to learning how to be an employer. And, after Sue we hired Diane Martin, and she did a good job filling the role as well. Past member, so she had some passion for the organization, and definitely a very good connection with all of them.
Looking back, what would you say would be your legacy, or what you left junior farmers after your tenure as president?
It's hard to pick one thing. I like to say I had a bit of an impact. I think the strategic planning was a significant step at the time, I think it was a time in our lives, I think, when things passed very fast, when we were trying to keep up with the things that needed to be taken care of at the time. But at the same time, we were all trying to generate a positive image of junior farmers to potential members, to our own members, and to people outside of the organization. So I would hope that over our time that we left that positive impression on people outside of the organization.
Now, with your time in junior farmers, how do you feel that it changed you as a person?
Well, in many ways, it was a fantastic opportunity to be involved in junior farmers. The things we were able to do, and both on the local level and on the provincial level. For me, I think I was often encouraged by the way junior farmers ran meetings and learned how to run meetings. And when I get involved, being involved in other local organizations as I am now, you realize the merit and on learning the meeting procedures and parliamentary procedures in junior farmers that many other people miss out on because they just weren't involved in junior farmers. So that was definitely a big building block for me.
Some of the crazy things that happened to you as a member. Are there any that you can tell us about?
Well, I have to be careful, but there are things that we did that you probably wouldn't do in any other organization, and traveling to meetings at different parts of the province and spending more time on the road than you would at a meeting. It just didn't make sense, but we did it anyway because we're junior farmers, and and we got lost at times. And I do remember one occasion when we were coming back from an executive retreat, I think, and we were somewhere up in the Halliburton Highlands, and and I was with Tom Mueller from Dundas, and we ended up took a wrong turn. We ended up on a cow path, and so we got out of the car, took a picture of each other holding the map, and with one arm up in the air like we didn't know where we were in front of the car on this cow path. The other thing that comes to mind is Wellington County Junior Farmers organized a bus tour to Nashville over New Year's of all things, and they filled the bus, and we spent a night in Cincinnati and 2 nights in Nashville and a night in Cincinnati New Year's Eve on the way back, and it was a group that just clicked, and we had a good time. We went to the Grand Ole Opry. Everybody knew we were Canadians because they heard us hooting and hollering, and it was just one of those trips where everybody clicked, had a good time, and memories that just don't go away.
What do you feel that the importance is of junior farmers to the province of Ontario?
Junior Farmers is an organization that gives young people a chance to learn a lot about themselves, a lot about their community, a lot about their province, and gives them an opportunity to do a lot of things that they wouldn't in 4-H or other rural organizations. And it it gives a lot of individuals a chance to become a better person. The other memories I think that everyone that was a junior farmer will have in their pocket is the friends that they met and the friendships that they held on to, and any opportunity that you have to connect with someone and build a friendship, and that's something that doesn't go away, and you have it for the rest of your life. And I think it's an organization that I hope has a long future, because everyone could benefit from those sort of friendships.
How many members were in the province during your time as a member?
I seem to recall that when I was coming on to the executive in the late 80s, that the membership slipped below 2,000 members, and when I joined Junior Farmers in 1982-83, there was over 8,000, about the time that it peaked. Seemed to be a bit of a tragedy that it went below 2,000 at the time, and then it continued to decrease. I think by the early 1900s there was, if I'm correct, I think it was getting down to about 1,300 or 1,200. And we had to make a few adjustments, having a lower membership base, and lower income as a result as well. But we made the adjustments that we could, that we had to, and did our best to try and make sure that the organization thrived.
What were some of those adjustments?
We had to streamline, I think, some of the provincial events. I'm trying to think now. There was events at Sing Swing, for example, that maybe didn't have the enrollment numbers, so we had to change the focus of them. There was, I think we tried to focus a little bit on eliminating some of the zone level events, so there wasn't 3 levels of organizations and junior farmers. in some cases 4, where there was club, then county, then zone, and provincial events. So I think the focus was at the time was just trying to streamline things a little bit better, so the the members could make sure all the duties at the county level were taken care of. The other thing we introduced at the time was a community, when there was community betterment projects and there was agriculture awareness projects, and we introduced I think conservation awareness projects as well as a bit of an alternative to. In some counties it might have been a little bit easier to go with the conservation project in place of an agricultural awareness project. And yeah, anytime we were able to be a little bit more flexible for the clubs and help them along, that's what we tried to do.
Was it ever looked into some of the causes of this decrease in membership?
Discussed every year at March conference, I believe, and often at the executive, and what we could do to reverse the trend, and when was it going to plateau. The reality of it was that there was a lot of factors facing us, and still faces junior farmers today. We looked south of the border to the U.S. At 4-H and the Future Farmers of America, overseas in the UK and Australia, and they were facing the same challenges that we were. So it was no surprise. The best that we could do was try to slow the process down or get the membership numbers to plateau, and we tried to branch out to non-rural people as well, and have them get involved in junior farmers. That was that was our strategy to try and get the numbers to plateau. But as today, there was a lot of external forces, things to get involved in. There's always other service clubs and sports teams that were drawing the members' time away, and we just tried our best to make it easier for members to become junior farmer members.
How much did membership cost in your tenure?
Well, I remember when I joined in the early 80s, the membership fee was $5, and that seemed to be fairly reasonable at the time. It crept up over the years, and I think the last membership fee that I paid was $20. And I do remember being on the executive and having to decide what the membership fee was going to be for the following year, and it seemed to be a hot topic of discussion, and it was going to be over the edge once it got over $10. But in all reality, it was for the benefits that everyone got from junior farmers, it was very much a small price to pay.
Okay. Going back to what you talked about at the beginning of the interview, you talked about you had the opportunity to go on an exchange trip.
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen?
I applied for the UK exchange in 1987 and won the trip. And at that time there was 4 delegates that went abroad. Fantastic opportunity.
How long was it for?
It was a 9-week exchange, and we spent 3 weeks in Scotland and 3 weeks in Northern Ireland and 3 weeks in England and Wales. And we had an orientation session in Scotland when we arrived, and we met up with exchange delegates from Australia, New Zealand, Sweden, Finland, and Germany, and and then we're sent off to our hosts, our first hosts, and it was a fantastic way to learn about a country, to be able to go there and move into the people's homes and have them accept you like one of their own family. And you could sit around the table and ask questions about their country and their customs and their agriculture and the statistics and the ways they do things and why. And some of those friendships I've kept, that was 25 years ago that happened, and some of those friendships I've kept over the years, and we still correspond on a regular basis. So that's a program that I don't think could be replaced by anything else.
Who were the other junior farmers that went with you on the trip?
If I remember correctly, Laurie Scott from Kent County, Britta Ball from, I believe she was a member of the University of Guelph at the time, and Ron McConaughey from Haldeman, and myself from Prescott.
And did you ever apply for exchange again?
I think at the time we were only able to apply for one international exchange, but we could go on an interprovincial. And since I got involved on the provincial directorate, I really didn't want to take the opportunity away from some other candidates. And I was traveling with work anyway, so I spent, I think, more of my time trying to encourage other people to apply for the exchanges.
Okay. Let's go back, and can you tell us about the different events, provincial events that they had in junior farmers in your time?
Sure. Before I was on the executive, before I was on the provincial director, in fact, they had just started, and I think Jim Wirt had done a lot of work on steering this program forward in turning the provincial events into experience sharing events, where the provincial directorate coordinated the provincial events with the local clubs and counties that wanted to host them. And the 4 events were Winter Games, Summer Games, Sing Swing, and Culturama. And it was a great opportunity for the local clubs to have the chance to host an event of that nature, and to make a little bit extra money while they were doing it. And they had the guidance and the support of the provincial directors. They helped to run the event on the day. They had the support from the provincial office to administer it, and it was a real good coming of age, I think, of those events. Our county, Prescott, bid on and hosted Culturama. I believe it was in the early 90s, and I think that was the first time that an event was hosted by a county but not held in the county. We held it in Ottawa, where there was more accommodations and better facilities, and it was it was a great experience to be able to host it.
If you could tell a current member or a future member one thing, what would you tell them?
My advice would be to seize every opportunity that comes before you, because you may not have the chance to take advantage of that opportunity again. And secondly, cherish the friendships that you have in junior farmers, because those are people that you could have an impact on, they could have an impact on you, but definitely a friendship that you would likely hang on to for the rest of your life. And the friendships of junior farmers are the greatest, some of the greatest ones you'll ever have.
Is there more stories you'd like to share, or that I forgot to ask about?
We had a lot of good experiences, but for me personally, I spent some time backpacking in Australia and New Zealand, and anytime I had a chance to meet an exchange delegate, I hung on to their address, and it was a fantastic opportunity to be able to catch up with them again down the road. And they were more than happy to have me stay and visit with them when I was traveling. So those exchanges are very valuable connections.
Is there any other final words you'd like to give? Or?
I would just say that I hope that the Junior Farmers continues to thrive, and I encourage all those involved or potential members that are would like to get involved in Junior Farmers or start a club. That you should do everything you can to try and drive it forward, because it's an organization I don't think anyone would regret being involved in.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.